They came in sleek, obsidian-black ships that cut across the stars like blades. The Zorthari, an empire of 12 star systems, proud, ancient, and arrogant, had watched Earth for decades with a mixture of amusement and disdain. Our planet, tucked in the spiral arm of the Milky Way, was classified as pre-ascendant in their lexicon, meaning barely worthy of observation. Certainly not respect. To them, humans were crude primates with primitive tech, flailing the void with outdated combustion drives and cluttered satellites. They scoffed at our politics, our wars, our fractured cultures. Their broadcasts mocked our rockets, laughed at our historical archives, and aired comedy skits showing humans accidentally launching themselves into space toilets. So when the Zorthari finally deigned to visit Earth in person, they expected to land as gods among fools. Their ambassadorial flagship, Arkansas, emerged from subspace right above Earth orbit. It was a spectacle. 3 kilometers long, cloaked in magnetic veils, bristling with defensive arrays, escorted by a swarm of drones that shimmered with silent menace. They opened wideband diplomatic channels and announced, in 1,000 languages, "We come in the spirit of amusement and enlightenment." Amusement was the key word. They wanted to observe Earth firsthand before submitting a final cultural evaluation to the Galactic Union, a kind of cosmic Yelp review. For decades, they had rated us 1.2 stars out of 7. But now they wanted proof that humans were as hilariously backward as they'd assumed. They began in low Earth orbit, chuckling at the International Space Station, calling it a tin can of hope. They sent survey drones to Mars and giggled at the lonely, rusting rovers. Then they turned their scanners toward Earth's surface, puzzled that so much energy and heat signatures clustered in odd patterns. Most cities were where they expected, but several zones were empty, or rather, empty in a suspiciously well-masked way. One such zone was in the shadow of the moon, on Earth's far side. To Zorthari sensors, it looked like a cold, dead swath of rock. No thermal signature, no EM emissions, no signs of life, just a crater. But the youngest of the Zorthari science officers, a sharp, curious female named Vrixa, sensed something was off. She ordered a pulse scan at an oblique angle. The result was so anomalous that she had to triple-check it. A massive magnetic distortion, a geometry that didn't match lunar rock, something artificial hidden beneath the crater's surface. When she presented her findings to the ambassador, he rolled his mandibles. A misreading. Or perhaps the humans buried one of their nukes there. Either way, irrelevant. We are here to observe their cities, not some dusty hole. But Vrixa persisted. Permission to investigate, sir. The anomaly is vast, several kilometers wide. There could be value. The ambassador sighed. Fine, take a scout team. Humor yourself. She departed in a small corvette with 3 other Zorthari researchers. The ship descended silently, cloaked in photon warping fields, settling above the crater with surgical precision. At first, nothing happened. Then, as they lowered a probe into the central basin, the ground rippled. Not exploded, not cracked, rippled, like water disturbed by a single drop. The crater shimmered, and the illusion vanished. Beneath them, no longer hidden, was Soul Haven. The corvette's AI stuttered as it recalibrated. A vast, gleaming structure of concentric rings and towering pylons unfolded beneath their hull. Silver and sapphire domes rose from the rock, surrounded by defensive towers that shimmered with ion shielding. Gigantic hangars opened like blooming petals, revealing hundreds of ships, sleek, silent, and unlike any tech the Zorthari had cataloged. Soul Haven was a city. No, more than that, it was a fortress, a starport, a laboratory, and an ark all in one. And it had been built in secret, hidden from prying eyes for over a century. Vrixa's blood chilled. This is impossible. Her pilot whispered, "Why would the humans hide this?" A voice crackled over their comms, clear and calm. "Unidentified vessel. You have entered restricted airspace above Soul Haven. Identify yourself immediately, or you will be fired upon." The Zorthari froze. The voice was human, and the calmness was worse than rage. It was confidence. "We are on a peaceful diplomatic mission from the Zorthari Empire." Vrixa replied quickly. "We meant no intrusion. We detected an anomaly and sought to investigate." There was a pause. Then, transmission acknowledged. Prepare to be escorted to Dock 12 for inspection. Before they could reply, 2 human ships emerged from the city below. They didn't look like Earth's orbital shuttles. These were sharp, symmetrical, and pulsing with blue plasma engines. They flanked the Zorthari corvette with precise, calculated movements. The human vessels didn't speak again. They didn't need to. The message was clear. Follow or don't leave. Inside Arkansas, the ambassador gaped at the footage transmitted from the scout team. He demanded answers. Where had this city come from? Why hadn't their sensors seen it before? How had Earth built something like this, without anyone knowing? Earth's response came quickly. A single signal, broadcast to the entire Zorthari fleet. "This is Commander Alara Voss of Soul Haven. Welcome to Earthspace. What you've just discovered is a classified installation known as Soul Haven, our insurance policy. While the world watched rockets launch from Cape Canaveral and probes crawl across Mars, we build in secret, underground, and off-world. We learned from your observations. We studied your tech, and we planned for the day you'd arrive." The ambassador's mandibles clicked. "Is that a threat?" "Only if you want to be," Alara replied. The Zorthari ambassador ordered a formal visit. He personally descended to Soul Haven aboard a ceremonial barge, flanked by honor guards. He expected human pageantry. He expected confusion, scrambling, or even awe. What he got instead was bureaucracy, security scans, ID checks, a waiting room. He sat across from a human officer who offered him tea and a tablet of legal waivers. "This is outrageous," he hissed. "I represent 12 systems." The officer didn't blink. "That's nice. You're on Earth now. Please fill out the customs form." When he was finally granted an audience, Commander Alara Voss met him in a glass observation deck overlooking a chamber full of fusion cores and research stations. Her uniform was crisp, her expression unreadable. "We hid this place for a reason," she said. "Because we knew if we announced it, someone would try to take it. Or worse, sabotage it." The ambassador tried to regain his dignity. Why? Why the secrecy? Because we're human, Elara said simply. We've seen what happens when we trust too easily. Our history taught us that peace is fragile. So we built Soul Haven as a fallback, a sanctuary, a weapon of last resort. You could have joined the Galactic Union, the ambassador said. We still might, Elara replied. But we'd rather join as equals, not curiosities. Not clowns for your amusement. The Zorthari returned to their ship stunned. Their empire's entire narrative had been upended. The humans weren't backward primitives. They were survivors, strategists, builders who played the long game. Worse, they had done it without anyone noticing. The Zorthari withdrew their scathing reports. They stopped airing mockery shows. And slowly, quietly, their diplomats began whispering that perhaps Earth might deserve a seat at the table after all. But among the younger Zorthari, a new kind of fear took root. If humans could build that in secret, what else were they hiding?